Stay hungry, not thirsty. Be passionate, not desperate. Okay, let's get into it. I have two books. One is It's About Damn Time, and one is Your First Million. If you don't know my story, I was homeless 9 years ago. And since then, I have raised more than $30 million. Dollars. I've invested in more than 200 companies. I've been on the cover of Fast Company and Black Enterprise, and so much more. I have $1 million plus in donations to colleges, HBCUs, Oxford University, Harvard Law, etc. I've generated millions of dollars for myself and other people. I keep things really close to the bone when it comes to pouring my money back into my company. So I also know what it's like. I don't forget what it was like 9 years ago. I'm not living large. There's so much to my story, but that's why I wrote two books and counting. And the reason I wanted to make this video today is because I was just on the road for 5 days. I was in Seattle and then I was in New York on business. And I get to meet a lot of people when I travel, and a lot of people who know me because I go into these certain places, right? And I talk to entrepreneurs who come up to me and they're pitching, and they're saying that they're getting that one shot to pitch me because they know I invest, and maybe I can help them with investment, or maybe I can help them learn something about generating revenue. Whatever the case is, they think that by getting in front of me, it's their only shot in a lot of cases. And I have to tell them that is not the case. If getting in front of me or one other person is the end all or be all for your company, something is wrong. And so I say, stay hungry, stay passionate, not thirsty. Don't get desperate. I said this first years ago, and then I put it into my books, and now it's part of my new line of water, my water brand called Yacht Water. You can go to yachtwater.com if you want to learn more about that. But the point of this video is we're going to talk about how you can stay grounded and how you can present yourself in a way that gets you more out of what you're looking for. So, we're talking about negotiating, we're talking about pitching, we're talking about just being in the room and giving yourself a fair chance because you have what it takes. You are probably someone, especially if you're watching this video, who has the goods, but some people are tripping up and tripping on themselves. And I wanted to make sure that you knew how you can stay authentic in your ambition. So, first of all, have a conversation with yourself. Have a conversation with yourself about what it is you really want. This goes for people of all ages, seasoned, all the way to newbies and everywhere in between. Most of my audience is between 30 and 55, but I have people who I work with who are in their 70s. I have people who are in their 20s. I have, all kinds of people paying attention to this, and I can see it across different age groups, experience. What do you really want, and why do you really want it? Put it in the comment right now if you have not asked yourself this question recently. Let me know if you've asked yourself that question recently. What do I want? And what do I really want out of life? And why do I want it? Do you want something because you see someone else has it? Do you want it because you read somewhere that that's what you're supposed to have by this age? Do you find yourself looking up people's ages and trying to compare yourself and what your life is compared to what they do? You know how many times somebody has said, Beyonce did this by this age? What does that matter to you in your life? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. So, first of all, I need you to clarify your vision. Your vision is yours and yours alone. It cannot include and cannot be based on what other people want from you or what you believe is where you're supposed to be in life. How do you avoid thirstiness? Well, it's about staying grounded. It's about recognizing desperation. When people are thirsty, when they run up to you and they need you, it has a certain energy to it. I used to be real thirsty. Used to be real thirsty because I would write these emails to people trying to raise money or get a gig on the road when I worked in live music or whatever it was that I was trying to get. I would write these emails that were so long. I look back on them now, cringe worthy. They're like my life story in the email. And I was upset people weren't writing back to me. The reason I did it, and I know this about myself, the reason I did it was because I thought if they only knew my story, they would believe in me. They would be so impressed that I made it this far and they would help me. But what you got to understand is the person on the other end of that, if you're going after them, that must mean they have some level of success. They have something that you want, and they're probably busy. So once I realized, oh, the people on the other side are busy, they're either not reading this at all or they're looking for those emails that they can scan real quick, get to the point, and try to help. One of the two, it changed everything for me. So now when I really need something, I really want something, I'm going after it. I try to write an email, especially if I've never spoken to this person before. I try to write an email where you don't have to scroll to read it. It's just enough few lines, if that, where the person doesn't even have to scroll on their phone or on their laptop to see it. So go back and look at some of your recent emails. How long are they? Let me know in the comments how long your emails out to people, strangers are, that you're asking for something. Then think about how many times am I asking the same person the same thing and hearing no or hearing ghost from them, like finding ghost from them. No answer is an answer. No answer is a no. Okay. So when I say go out and somebody said that I said don't take no for an answer, I really don't. I say don't take no from the world as an answer. Like keep going. But if somebody tells you no, listen to them. Listen to them. Don't badger them. Don't stalk them, right? Because that's thirsty. That's like I gotta have it from this person. That's not even true. So what I would say instead is you have multiple people that you can ask the same question, and you never put your all your eggs in one basket where one person's no just ruins your whole day or ruins your plans. And then yes, at some point down the line, if you have more traction, more success, more something that has changed from the last time you asked, you can go back to the first person. You can say, look, when I asked you before, I didn't have this partnership. I didn't have this many customers or this many names on my mailing list or this, whatever it is in your case. And I just want to let you know that in those last 6 months, things have changed a lot. And I just want to make sure you know what the offer is today. No pressure. I just want to show you when you go out to raise money or to earn money from a customer and you need that money yesterday, like you're desperate for it, you got to pay the rent, you got to do that, people can feel that from a mile away. So the one of the ways that you can avoid this is to go out before you need it the most. Now, of course, if you're already in the situation, you're feeling desperate, you're feeling like I'm going to be kicked on the street. It's hard to hear that, but I'm trying to help you right now because I've been there. And if you can elevate your circumstances, lower your blood pressure, lower the temperature, moderate your voice, calm yourself because of all the situation, that energy you put out puts you in a higher position. It gives you more strength and more leverage in the conversation, like literally in the conversation. But if you're all over the place, you're sweating, you're stuttering, you're not necessarily stuttering for that reason if you have a speech impediment. I'm saying more like you are so amped up that you can't even get words out. And you're not thinking straight. It's going to come across. You have to learn how to balance your hunger with your patience. And that comes from having more of a plan. Your lack of a plan and your need to pay the rent or to get something paid for or to get something said yes to is no one else's problem. I'm trying to give you a little bit of tough love. I know it's hard to hear some of this, but it's the truth. I'm saying it to myself too. Do you know how many times I have had to be in that situation where I've had to go out and ask for stuff and I didn't want to? But the better results come from having more space between when you need the thing and when you're asking for the thing. If this is making sense to you, let me know in the comments. I want to help you. That's why I'm recording this. So you want to keep your end game in mind. You want to understand it and visualize it when you're talking to whomever you're talking to. because you want to always go back to the why. Why? What do you want and why do you want it? You're going to get real tangled up real fast if you forget that. And then you're out there really out on a limb because you're asking for something you've forgotten why you're even asking for it. This happens a lot when people come to me and they ask for a certain amount of money when they're doing investment, like when they're asking for an investment. And I'll say to them, okay, you're raising $500,000. Why? Sometimes it throws them off. Sometimes people come in, they got all the receipts, they got everything, and they're ready. But a lot of people will come in and say, I'm raising $500,000. And I'm looking at them, they have no revenue, they barely have a product, they don't have a lot of customers. And I'm like, what will $500,000 do? If I give anybody $500,000, if somebody gave me $500,000, there's plenty we could do. But in your case, why that number? And so many times somebody will say, well, my competitor just raised 5 million. And so I'm just, da, da, da. And it's like, so you really don't have a plan. You really don't have an answer for me. You just have a guess and a hope. And what I have them do is an exercise where I say, go for 24 hours and put pen to paper and write out what you really need for each line, not thinking about what you could go out there and try to raise. Most of them come back to me and they either need like 50,000, 75,000, 150,000. It's never the full amount because when they put pen to paper and they really figure it out, it's never the full amount. It's some made up number that they think they're supposed to have. And they're out there breaking their neck trying to get that amount of money. So if you are in that situation right now, no matter what position you're in, and you're trying to raise money for your company or you're trying to do something for something, X for Y, put pen to paper and really do the math. Strategize, right? Because you need to make value driven decisions based on value, not desperation. Are you hearing me? And it needs to feel authentic. It needs to feel authentic. I want us all to win. And let me use this point right here, this time right here to let you know you do not have to raise money. This is not just about raising money. This is not a video about that. It's just a good example of it. You do not have to raise money for your company. Um, Money helps for sure, but if you have not made $100 go somewhere in your company, chances are that when you're handed $1,000, you still won't be able to make something happen. You need to be able to show, whether it's for a fundraise or it's for your customers or for somebody you're trying to hire, you need to be able to show with these few resources over here, I was able to make this happen, this other thing happen. I was able to have some sort of momentum because I took this and turned it into that. Therefore, if I get more on this side, it stands to reason that this side will go up too. If you can make that argument truthfully and authentically, then you're on the right path. So here are 3 ways that I want you to think about when it comes to being hungry, not thirsty. Self-care and your boundaries. Protect your own energy and avoid burnout so that you're not in a place where you're putting that and projecting that onto other people. If you take care of yourself, you'll probably take care of other people around you, meaning you won't spew that onto them, which is not their problem, right? You can have a routine, you can start doing therapy, you can start doing meditation. There are different things that you can do to help regulate yourself so that you're a better person going out into the world and not putting that on other people. The next thing you can do out of 3 is you can measure your progress and not validation. So instead of saying, how many likes did this get and how many people clap for me, say, how far have I gone? How far have I gone since this other thing? And count the small wins too. And then the other thing is, I think it's really important for underestimated people, especially if you've ever felt underestimated. I think it's really important for you to brag, but I also feel like balancing your ambition with humility helps. So when it comes to like knowing yourself and saying, "Hey, I don't know everything about this topic. There's so much room for me to learn." That's what I feel about YouTube. That's what I feel about memberships. That's what I feel about my venture fund. Even after 10 plus years of running it, that's how I feel about like my marriage, life, everything. I feel like there's so much more for me to learn, and that's the exciting thing every single day, right? So I want you to think about adopting this whenever you're feeling a certain way, just kind of say this sort of as a mantra. Okay, I'm going to be hungry, not thirsty. Hungry, not thirsty. Just kind of keep yourself grounded in that. What you'll see will happen is you'll start to get more yeses. You'll start to get into more rooms, get invited into more rooms that are more powerful and more constructive for you. You'll start to feel better about yourself. You'll start to notice people pulling you into the circle rather than giving you like ghosts or giving you excuses. If you can do this,